I'd like to welcome you all to our county commission meeting this evening, and if you would please make sure that your phones are muted or shut off, and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. Again, thank you for showing up this evening, and a very nice evening that turned out with the rain this morning and sunshine this afternoon. So we'll get our meeting started this evening. Patty, would you please call the roll?
Dan,
Here.
Don,
Here.
Wanda, Brian,
Here.
John.
Here.
Didn't have my microphone on, that's what happened.
Oh, Wanda's not here to remind you. Next item, any conflict of interest from our commissioners?
I have none.
I do not.
I have none.
I have none. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
We're gonna,
Number 10.
Yeah, we have to strike number 10 from the agenda this evening.
strike that, and now can I get a motion to approve the agenda with,
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda with the correction.
corrections?
Second.
I have a motion by Dan, second by Ryan to approve the agenda and with corrections. All in favor, aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries. Absolutely. Anyone sustaining or opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Now's the time for our public comment. Public comment is a time for persons to address this body on any subject. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action will be taken. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak. There shall be no personal attacks against the members of this body, county staff, individual, or organizations. The chair has the authority to enforce this policy. Failure to adhere to these rules may result in forfeiture of the remaining speaking time. Per county policy, the Yankton County Commissioners will not engage in conversation or make statements during public comment. Do we have anyone to speak to? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address.
I'm Ava Tucker, 608 James Place in Yankton. On April 15th, I came to the courthouse to conduct some minor business and I fell. And I have been struggling ever since. Mike, claims adjuster, sent me paperwork and I needed to go all over and have this paperwork signed to release my medical records. The ambulance was called. I did not request them. They were called. I went to the hospital on my own. They took x-rays. I went home. So the next day I came up here and was told to be sure that there was a report. And so I came and I asked for a copy of that report and I was told that there wasn't one filed, that there were notes. And so I filed the report and it's just been an absolute nightmare ever since. Every time I go to the hospital, I had to have an MRI, I had to have x-rays. Every time I go, I have to pay out of my pocket my copay. Today I got a bill from the hospital for $460 some. My insurance has said now, the Orthopedic Institute said that I needed a procedure and my insurance company said no, that I have to go for chiropractic care before they will approve it. So now I'm going to the chiropractor for a $20 copay. I had to buy a sling for my arm That was $35 out of my pocket. I have been taking medication. Nothing from you people, whoever you are, whoever let that man continue to work here. When I have been told by different employees of this courthouse or public building that he should have been fired a long time ago, that this was the straw that broke the camel's back and he was let go. Whoever made that decision has put me through so much pain, so much expense out of my pocket. But for the last 2 years, I have spent at the nursing home, the clinic, the hospital with my husband. So he passes away, and so now's my chance. That sounded terrible, but I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from. I thought that now I could go visit my grandchildren. I could do some of the things that my husband and I plan to do together by myself. Well, I can't because, first of all, I have this pain that wakes me up every night in the middle of the night. I'm on medication for that. And secondly, I have all these appointments to go to. I am yanked and bound because someone didn't follow through and make the decision that that person was not qualified to be here. That's all I have.
We can't comment if you're waiting for us to comment.
Well, can somebody do something?
It's public comment.
I have not had any contact with this insurance adjuster since May 8th. I mean, it's just like I'm out there all by myself and I don't want to be out. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be going through this. But someone made a bad decision.
Anyone else want a public comment? Hearing none, public comment is closed. Next item on the agenda for this evening is the reappointment of our MI board member.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Lucy Levno. I'm the chair for the Yankton County Board of Mental Illness. And Val Larson's terms, their 3-year terms, is due to expire here the end of June. So I'm asking that she be reappointed for another 3-year term.
Move,
Okay,
that Val,
I have, well, go ahead.
I'd make a motion to reappoint Val Larson. I think she
Yep.
does a great job.
Have a motion,
I'll second that.
motion by Dan, second by Ryan. Any further discussion? I do have one question. And this was a question that my wife actually asked me the other night is what does this board actually do?
When people are brought to the Human Services Center, the state hospital, we conduct all the hearings that are put before us by every county, anybody that comes from out of state that's there. If they're going to have to stay there for 5 days or longer, they have to have a hearing to determine that we have the right to take away their liberty. So we sit as the board and we have hearings. Mr. Larson and the state's attorney's office presides at, or is at those also in their legal hearings, and we determine whether or not the individual needs to stay at the hospital and be committed or whether or not they get released.
And the reason I asked that question is if my wife asked that question, I am sure that we have other people in Yankton County that would like to know that. And I'm glad that you brought that up and explained what this board actually does.
Sure, and if you want to direct them to me, you know, Tyler has my number. I'm more than willing to explain to anybody.
Lucy, so the state then reimburses the county for what Is that how that works? So if somebody comes from a neighboring county, we have to do the hearing. Does the state pay for that or do we pay for
The
that?
county pays for that. If they come from if they
Yeah.
come from Bonham County, I send a bill to Bonham County and they bill us.
Okay.
The only time Yankton County pays for the bills is if they're Yankton County resident
Okay.
or Yankton County refers them, and there are approximately 5 counties out there that will not pay.
Do you have a name? I want names.
I have a list.
Yeah. Well, can we reject people from those counties then if they're not gonna pay us or reimburse us? Cause I
That's
mean, to me, and I understand the need for it, but we have a board basically doing a state function,
Mhm.
right? Because we have a mental health
Mhm.
facility here. So when another county doesn't pay, then we have to pay for them, correct?
Well, I've
Mhm.
taken the initiative
Yeah.
years ago, and these 5 counties, I've written them all letters and I
Mhm.
told them I am not conducting their hearings. So I do not conduct their hearings, and they are well aware of that. The only time that I may conduct their hearings is, say they're brought in and
Mhm.
a petition is done in Yankton County.
Mhm.
I have to respond to that petition.
Mhm.
And so then Yankton County becomes the referring county.
Mhm.
And then Yankton County has to pay, subject to them reimbursing Yankton County. So I haven't found a way to fix that little glitch, but I refuse to do their hearings and I make that very clear.
Well, we appreciate what you do and we appreciate the opportunity where you try to make sure that we do get reimbursed, so.
Yep. You're welcome.
But like I said, I just wanted to make sure that the people of the county know is exactly what you do, so,
Sure, I welcome
Thank you.
any questions if you
thank you.
want to direct. Thank you.
Any-
Vote on that.
You got a quote,
Maybe we have to vote on that.
to approve this?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a motion.
Oh, yes, we do have a motion and a second, I'm sorry, to approve the acceptance of the new member or the previous member to come back on. So any further discussion by the commission? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
On that, just for the public, that's just another thing that Yankton County gets the bill for when it really should be the state doing that, because that's a state facility.
Next item, our South Dakota State University MOU for the 4-H. I
Katie
don't
won't
see,
be here
Katie won't be here tonight. Do you wanna,
Do we want to
Yeah,
wait? Does
is-
it need to be done?
or do we wanna push that or postpone that?
We can't approve it. It's the same as last year. It's the standard. One unique thing is that we've made pretty much the decision that we're not going to have a second person with 4-H. And so I will be reaching out to them to get more assistance from the state for Katie.
Is this, how time sensitive is this?
Don't know if this is super time sensitive, but it
would-
is.
Would you be okay with just doing the next meeting? Katie can come in and tell us what their plans are for.
don't think she's.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna make much difference, would it? Or
No, I mean, I always enjoy hearing what their plans is for.
well, if you want, I mean, you could come in for something like that anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And maybe that is something that, we've talked about before, of having department come in for like a regular report, and that would be a good thing for the extension to do, Katie to do.
I think, and plus, she just got back, so
Okay.
we can have her, I'll
Yeah.
email her and text her if she wants to come.
It's
Just pick
literally
a
just
meeting.
getting settled in. and
Yeah.
Oh,
getting
okay,
back
yeah,
from
I guess I
attorney
didn't
leave.
realize that. And then there was some paperwork she had mentioned that we could request from the state for additional support, but we had to do some paperwork.
That's exactly what I was just talking about,
Oh, okay.
is reaching out to state, getting some more support.
So, you're okay with approving this then?
I'm okay with approving it.
Move
yeah.
approval of the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, but second by, or motion by Dan, second by Ryan to approve the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approve a right-of-way certificate, utility certificate and letting authorization by our highway department. Mike, you're up.
I'll need a separate motion for each of them. This is all for the Stone Church Bridge. The right-of-way certificate and the utility certificate that was actually approved back in 2021. But now that it is a federal project, the project number has changed, so we have to update this.
It's government for you right there.
Yep.
Ooh,
Second,
Got a motion by Don, second by Dan to approve the right-of-way certificate.
there's no cost to.
No,
And
no.
and just, and I think, the one comment, I think you gave us a paper copy, has East River Electric on it as well.
Yep.
Versus the packet copy does not.
Vote, Mr. Chair.
Any further discussion? Other than that, hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yeah, answering that, Ryan, I went through, I dug up the old one today and I was looking, I was like, yeah, I had to add that one, so.
Yeah,
That was for the right of way. Need a motion on the utility certificate also.
I move approval of the utilities certificate.
Second,
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan to approve the utility certificate. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Then last, letting authorization.
one thing on that, moving those, do we have utilities that are gonna be moved then?
Not at our expense, no.
Okay.
Um,
If it's not at our expense, I'm fine. It was just, that was a question.
Then last is, letting authorization. This is for, Stone Church Bridge construction. Estimated project cost is 9.6 million. But we'll find out the real cost when it goes out to bid. So,
So that,
and this is what this is doing, is giving permission for us to go out to bid. And I asked the question of when this is going out to bid, and they're hoping for this fall yet. So,
didn't we do preliminary engineering on this bridge
yep,
already?
I applied for
Like when we
PE
did the-
grant.
yeah.
years, probably back in 19 or 20.
Is that, and that was completed, right?
Yep.
So what are some of these extra expenses for if we already have, I mean, it can't be, have changed that much in a couple of years
The preliminary engineering,
from the state.
well, that's $1,700. I'd assume that paperwork stuff on that for the 1,700.
Could we look into that?
I can get you some answers on that.
Yeah, because if we already did this for the state.
But my guess is too that it's all different now that it's federal. Because just like otherwise, it was bid ready when it was, on the big program, it was bid ready.
Yeah.
Like all the preliminary engineering, everything was done, all the plans were done. We got awarded the bid, we could have put it out to bid, but the bid, and we did put it out to bid, but the bids come back way too high.
Yeah.
So now that it's federal, now there's all this environmental stuff, there's just way more loops and hoops to jump through.
No, I understand that, and I understand where you're coming from, but you know, why couldn't the state of South Dakota, who just did this, give the county a break? Why are they charging us up? Because the work is already done, right? I mean, they're.
But it's,
Except for the environmental.
it's done for the state, but it's not done for the federal process.
Just, the irony of the engineering study taking longer than building the bridge is this is why our country is the way it is, because we've been doing this study for years. And it'll take less time to physically build it.
Well,
than do all this other stuff.
and I get that. And it's just like the state prison. By pushing that off another year or two, it's gonna cost how many more hundreds of millions of dollars? Where we're lucky that it's gonna only cost us another $1,700 to do the environmental study for the federal government. I guess I would like to see if we can get a breakdown of why they're charging us more.
Could we just ask that question if they would do us the favor of waiving some of the state?
Well, I'll get their answers on what them couple costs are.
And then what is this, wetland credit? Like, what does that mean? Estimated wetland credit cost?
Well, that's,
It's in the river valley. The whole thing is wetland, isn't it?
anytime there is anything to do with wetland, riverbanks, anything like that, they have to mitigate how to protect and preserve.
That's why we can't build anything in this country anymore.
Well, there's just
Yeah.
to add to some of that, like some of our small bridges, if
Yeah.
they are in a wetland, that could cost us a lot to get a permit.
I'm gonna say lucky to get 80% of it.
Right.
I'd move approval of the bid letting. We gotta build it, so.
I have a motion by Dan. Can you get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ryan. Further discussion?
No, I appreciate what you're doing. I know there's a lot of hoops we gotta jump through for this federal process, so.
Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for
Thanks,
everything
Thanks,
you're
Mike.
doing on this project. Rob, you're up.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this update. I'd like to briefly walk through the highlights of the Veteran Service Office and what's been accomplished so far this year. To begin, a total of, over 400 forms have been completed in the Yankton County Veteran Service Office. Most common forms are the VA Form 21-22 power of attorney. It gives me permission, authorization to work on the behalf of a veteran. The next most common was the intent to file, which locks in a date for a veteran if he or she is looking to file a claim. Claim activity remained strong so far this year. 74 open claims, 61 of which are for Yankton County veterans. 4 claims completed so far. It takes the VA many months to make their decision on these claims, so probably won't get the final decision on most of these claims till next year. In the terms of case management, I'm currently managing 803 veteran files for Yankton County, along with 34 veteran files for Bonham, 7 files from Clay County, 5 from each of Hutchinson and Turner counties, and then 36 veteran files from Nebraska. This reflects the regional reach of this office and the responsiveness. Notably, my efforts have led to a monthly compensation increase of $151,292.31. That's an increase in the veterans' compensation for all the files that are managed from the Yankton County Veteran Service Office. To include a retroactive payment of $479,941.27. Bringing real financial relief to the veterans and their families in this region. We also supported 13 claims from other counties so far this year, continuing our outreach and collaboration with our neighboring communities. Transportation remains a priority. I have 3 volunteer drivers working on the 4th one right now. We had 25 veterans that received rides so far this year across 18 trips. Most of those trips went to the Sioux Falls VA hospital in Sioux Falls. We also made trips to Wagner VA clinic, Dakota Dunes VA clinic, and multiple civilian medical appointments. Overall, this report reflects the positive impact we continue to make for our veterans in this region. I appreciate your support and welcome any questions.
Are you full up on drivers or do you need,
We're managing pretty well with 3 drivers.
you don't need any more
Um,
volunteer? I know when they get, you need more drivers, usually put something, we try to let people know in the community.
Yeah. So I've got one guy, he's provided the final documentation for his packet to start being worked at the VA, so that'll bring me up to 4 drivers. I think 4 is gonna be a very manageable number. But so far this year, there was only 1 appointment that was missed, or not missed, but we weren't able to provide a ride for it because the 3 drivers I did have were not available for that specific day. But we go up every Tuesday and Thursday. Occasionally, there are certain providers that aren't available on Tuesday or Thursday. And if we can make it work, we'll get the veteran up there on a different day. That's all.
So-
I got.
So you are showing 36 veterans from Nebraska that you are dealing with and working with right now.
Yeah, on a regular basis, I'm managing those 36 files. Any updates that the VA puts out for those veterans, if there's any any tasks that need actioned for those veterans, I will reach out to them and
And I appreciate that you're doing this. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but
Yep.
why is someone in Nebraska not dealing with those people?
I'd like to think most of them work over here, so it's easier for them.
Okay,
And just the availability, you know, this office is the only full-time office in the region. All the other smaller counties are 1 or 2 days a week.
Well, you gotta drive to what, Mitchell or Sioux Falls?
Yeah.
Is the next closest.
I get that. And like I said, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I just think that there should be some compensation or something from
So just a little
Nebraska.
follow-up on that. So you, like, is a 36 from Nebraska, 34 from Bon Homme. They're all coming here to your office, or are you going out to them?
No, they're all
Or
coming to
just
me.
mostly? Okay.
Occasionally I'm able to do the work for them over the phone,
Mhm.
but yeah, they've all come to this location and requested services from Yankton County.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a call, from neighboring county, wanting us to look at assuming VSO duties for them. It looks, according to this, looks like we're doing that now, and
Yeah.
that's something you think you could handle, and, okay, well, get me an estimate on what you think would be fair to do that, because, yeah, I mean, every time I come in, there's 3, 4 people waiting outside. I don't know if I've ever seen your chair open, so,
And yeah, and it'd be good to follow up with them and really find out what that would entail if we, if you would start servicing another county.
Yeah. So recently I've been kind of switching, instead of majority walk-ins, I've been doing majority appointments.
Mhm.
So it seems to flow a lot easier.
okay.
Usually it's no longer than a week wait time for somebody to come in. Pennington County, I believe, their wait time is between a month and 2 months to get in.
Well, they have 4 VSOs too, don't they?
Yep.
They have a lot.
Yep.
Okay. No, I appreciate everything you do. I've heard from people who came and seen you and they're very happy and I know you've changed some of these veterans' lives. Some of these guys, they got out in Vietnam or whatever and didn't want anything to do with the VA and now when they're a little older, they need some care and I know you've helped them and their families, so it's not going unnoticed. So
Yeah,
thank you for
appreciate it. Thank you.
And again, Rob, I appreciate everything that you've done also, and
Thank you, Rob.
we look forward to working with other counties also. Just,
get me some of that information.
So I've been working on a while on the spreadsheet that I provided to you guys, and I intend to update this on a quarterly basis.
Okay.
And come
Perfect.
back. So you'll be seeing me more often.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Own elevator agreement is our next issue, item on our agenda. Do we have, Gary, you wanna talk about that?
So there's been some concerns about the elevator over at the safety center and so the last time they were here, they gave us this proposal for possible maintenance things to take care of, and so they laid it out and we have two different things here, but it's about $7,000 worth of work. But we all know it's 75 to 150,000 probably to replace the elevator. So
Very
it
expensive.
seems like 7,000 is pretty reasonable to do that. And I have the sheets here if you decide to move forward to initial and sign.
And that one's a pretty old elevator as well. Right?
Yes,
And
it
so I think it's in our best interest if we keep that one going. That's the one in the lobby. That's not the prisoner elevator. That's
Right.
the other one. Yeah. I
Okay.
think that's, yeah. I think it's in our best interest to keep it going as long as we can.
Cohen does all the elevators here and out at the safety, they've always,
So they're doing ours here at this facility also,
Right.
and they've recently checked it and gone through it.
I think last year they did some work on this one here too, but we had that question a while back about, whether it was okay with all the moving from the contact center and things. And they said it was fine, that actually it's better if it's used quite a bit. So
Do they do like a yearly inspection, or is that's what's on the schedule for them?
that's what I believe this is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an annual expense
I
that's presented here, these extra, these.
I don't know if it
modules, or
said specifically
one-time?
that, but I know they were here recently to view it and this is the proposal they came up with.
we sometimes have a yearly, maintenance on both the elevators that we, pay both.
Yeah. Is this,
And
Jeff
it's about $7,000.
did Jeff used to do this? Is that why they're taking it over or?
No, they did it while Jeff was here also.
So.
But he'd have
It's
more,
just-
he obviously
Yeah,
had more
Jeff takes care
information
of
than
it.
we do now.
So we kind of do it annually? now?
Yeah.
Okay. And Patty, you've had no issues with this company, so. Did that answer your
They've
question?
did it
Ryan?
from day one.
Sounds like it's.
Yeah,
annual.
that's what I'm trying to
Okay.
figure out, annual or one time.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
It's an
think it would have said that specifically in here.
Yeah.
Cost and
Okay.
any minor adjustments they'll make or repairs they'll
Yep.
do.
I know Jeff had talked about that there was some, problems going on at the one on Walnut at the safety center. I know they were eventually, I think, I don't know if they were supposed to replace something and I mean, it was very, very expensive.
Yeah, it sounds like it was time to do
Yep.
some maintenance definitely on it.
I guess I don't see much choice. We pretty much gotta do it, so. Guess I'd make a motion to approve the elevator agreement.
A motion by Dan to approve the elevator agreement. Can I get a second by Don? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And then next is the Green King change to the agreement, which
Yeah,
think they
this
put
was
the-
just to add Bill to do the extension building mowing also. That wasn't on the last one.
That,
This is,
that you're okay with that? and
Yeah,
Everything?
yeah.
Okay.
so
Ryan said it was needed, so.
it's needed. They want to, hopefully he can get it done before this weekend when they have another,
I'll definitely let him know right away.
yeah. Move approval.
Second.
got a motion by Ryan, second by Dan to approve the mowing of the Green King approve change to the agreement. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ditch board applicants.
It's actually drainage board, but, so we only had one applicant that's already on the board. That would make it 4. The other one declined to do it again. So the ordinance does allow, it just has to be odd number. So we could do 3 in the interim till we decide how we want to move forward on this, but it doesn't really make sense to add a 4th at this point.
Other than the hope that you have a quorum.
Yeah, and hope that we have a quorum. That's been an issue and,
You know, quorum's the same with 4 as it is with 3. I mean,
It is, but you have 4 people to choose from than
Yeah.
3.
yeah, well, and that,
2, I guess,
Yeah.
then.
but the ordinance does read it has to be an odd number with
Yeah.
one commissioner. So we'd have to make an ordinance change also if we go to the 4th. So it's up to you how you want to deal with it.
While we're on this topic too, you know, I talked with Ryan, he was the previous drainage board guy. Then I sent an email to Tyler on it as, you know, I wonder if this ordinance hasn't outlived its purpose. When's the last time we've had an application? Years?
Yeah, it's been a few years till just recently we had one, but then he decided to pull it. So,
So,
but it's been like 3 years now since we've actually had a meeting beside the mandatory one to approve the minutes, which doesn't amount to much.
Tyler, would you see any issue with us dissolving the drainage board and just putting that responsibility on the county commission to act as the
Drainage board. This is drainage commission, your drainage board.
commission? Because
Yeah, I did talk to some of my
Yeah.
attorneys in the office. There are some concerns, so we'll talk about it. Keep you guys updated, but
okay,
our recommendation is just to keep it for now.
for now.
Okay,
So, yeah, so that, it would seem like it makes the most sense just to stick with the 3. Hope we get quorums and keep moving forward until we have more of that discussion.
So we're not gonna appoint anybody then, correct? Is that?
That would be my thought, because unless you want to do an ordinance change, and then that's.
Any volunteers? You want to?
That's gonna take a while.
Pat, you want to be the?
Time to get involved in the community. Rich?
It's a tough subject for
Yeah.
people.
It's Carson, right? You don't live in do you live in Yankton or? No, I think you gotta live here. Oh,
So we
Oh darn, right?
postponing this.
well, I just don't think.
Well, I think we just don't do it, and I'll let David Healy know that
Okay.
they decided not to add a 4th because it's an even number, and
Perfect.
we'll just go from there.
And then I'd like to,
So I'll take a motion on that.
okay, I guess, I'd still like to look at it and, you know, Tyler, if you kind of want to consult with the fellow state's attorneys and let's, you know, take a look at it, because I know Brown County dissolved it and did Davison County get rid of it? Quite a number.
I sent Tyler a list of.
Quite a number of counties they set these up and then they've kind of dissolved them. And so maybe we'll look at it in a month or so again and see what we want to do.
You need a motion.
We'll take a motion.
Need a motion to not hire or appoint another board member to the drainage board. Do we have a motion?
I move that we stay with the three members of the drainage board and not appoint a new drainage board member.
Second.
Have a motion by Ryan, second by Don to approve the stay with the 3-member and not appoint another board member for the drainage board. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
IT
Hey,
discussion,
Gary,
Ryan,
do you want to,
Yeah,
I'm
so
assuming you're gonna.
and you
yeah.
sign the
do that
second
for the
page?
commission.
so it'll be a short and sweet update here. We had 5 proposals. We've really kind of honed it down to 2 that me and Gary have gone out and we've gotten some further clarifications, and we're going to continue that, and we expect to have them present next meeting and approve one.
Awesome. Thanks for that update. I need a motion to approve the May 19th, 2025 minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion by Dan,
Second.
second by Ryan to approve the May 19, 2025 minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the claims?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dan,
Second.
second by Ryan to approve claims. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Get a motion to approve May 2025 payroll.
So moved.
A
Second.
motion by Dan, second by Don to approve May 2025 payroll report or payroll. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Get a motion to approve our April 2025 auditor treasurer's report.
So moved.
Got a
Second.
motion by Dan, second by Ryan to approve the April 2025 auditor treasurer's report. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Get a motion to approve pooled cash.
So moved.
Oh, that's okay. We'll put it on that same from Dan and
Yeah,
Ryan.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Perfect. Now's the time for public comment. Anyone that wishes to speak on public comment? Hearing seeing none, public comment is closed. Commissioners update.
Ryan, you want to start or?
Well, I've given most of my update already, so
Okay.
through the meeting, so.
I'll go after you, John,
After me?
or unless you got, I got a little, you want me to go?
Go ahead.
All right, attended the Western Interstate Region Conference in Pennington County. It was really good, dealt with public lands and federal government, lots of county commissioners from across the state. One of the things I kind of wanted to relay to the public is some of the commissioners we talked to are already going through their budget, and what they're finding out is there's a lot of federal and state cuts across the nation. And what is happening is these nonprofit groups in particular are coming to the counties and they're saying, my budget got cut 80%, and they expect counties and cities to make up the difference. But we can't do that. I mean, our federal government is the biggest spender in the entire world, and we can't backfill what the federal government does or the state government does. Nobody can take that. And so I think we just need to be cognizant of that, because I heard a lot of that feedback from other states that are doing that. And we have to hold our own. I don't think we should be increasing any funding that we're doling out. We certainly can't make up lost federal revenue. It just was not a reality. And even if we could do that this year, we're not gonna be able to do it next year and the year after that and the year after that. Something else that we just need to be aware of is our federal government is really cracking down on entities that it feels are aiding illegal immigration. And I'm not trying to get this to be a controversial subject, but there was a list sent out the other day that had 400 counties on it. We're not on it, obviously, but across the nation that they feel are hampering and acting as sanctuary jurisdictions. And what the federal government, it'll decrease or eliminate any federal funding to include FEMA grants, federal aid and things like that. So we just need to be aware of that they are watching. So lots of cuts happening. And then in addition to that, we had our first state task force for property tax reform, and our own district rep, 18 Rep Julie Alf was on that. The auditor and I sat down last week for about 4 hours with a representative, went through our budget line by line. And I think she understands that we're very frugal with our budget. I know some people at the state are thinking that counties are spending recklessly. We didn't see it in our budget, and there's not a lot to cut. And if you force some of these cuts onto counties, when 80% of our budget is mandated by state law, what's that other 20%? Roads and bridges and ambulance. And so if we're gonna cut anywhere and we're forced to cut, it's to our roads and bridges. If we get a $10,000 bill for an inmate for one pill in our jail, we have to pay for it. If we have a $250,000 murder trial, we have to pay for it. So,
And we may have a couple of them coming
and
up.
we may have that. So, it's going to be very difficult. And no, I thought it was a really good conference, but speaking from others across the nation is we got to be prepared for tough reality for this budget. So, on a positive note, June 14th, 250th anniversary of the Army. So go Army, right, Don?
Right.
Well, 250 years, still going strong. So, yeah, hoorah. That's all I have.
Good deal. Don?
Patty passed out, this sheet. We've been working on trying to check up on the 24 operating expenses and revenue. And we put this together. It kind of shows each department, either personnel or operating expense or capital items. And it makes you realize that practically the only way we can cut expenses is to reduce people. And we want to be able to do the right thing to service the public, to service the people. So I'd like you guys to review this, and maybe at our next meeting, we can discuss it in a little more detail. I gotta go through it. I just got it today, and I gotta go through it, and I might have a question or two to ask Patty, but it's pretty actual. We didn't see anything that was unusual or.
Yep. The vast majority of these were required by statute to fund, so.
Well, most of the operating expenses that went over were because,
Yeah,
increases in
Yeah.
expenses.
when most of that, I think, was insurance, wasn't it, Patty?
Yeah.
When
That's in personnel.
yeah.
Patty.
Thank you for your work on this, Don.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Get
it.
that all put together between Don and Patty and all of your assistants. Thank you.
Yeah, and speaking of budget, you guys will have to, we'll start maybe, I'm thinking the end of June, that last week in June, or in the first week in July to start doing department heads and any of the other
Should we,
entities.
do we want to set that date today? Do we want to do it like on the 27th? I know Wanda prefers Fridays, but everybody's schedule is going to keep getting booked up.
27's fine with me.
I got it open right now. And I'd like to get a jump on, you know, the budget.
I'm fine
If
with
we-
27th.
Right.
28th is out, but that's my wedding anniversary. So
Oh, what's more romantic than a budget hearing?
absolutely not.
Ryan, what are you thinking about the 27th of June?
Because we have to have the annual budget approved by October 1st.
Mhm.
And we don't meet until in October. I
Yeah.
think it's what was it, the 7th? October 7th. So we'll have to approve it.
On the 7th.
No, it has to be approved before the 1st.
Oh, okay, so
So we'll have to prove it, either have a special meeting or approve it on September 16th.
So, yeah, so we're almost a month
Yeah.
ahead of, we'll need to be a month ahead.
You know, we can
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
yeah, we can,
do a special meeting to approve it, but
let's get going on the 27th if that works for you, Brian.
That can work.
Okay.
Morning. Would morning?
11 o'clock.
work?
11,
Not,
sounds good.
not early morning, 11 o'clock.
07, okay. Well, could we go a little earlier? Cause the first thing we're gonna do, correct, Patty, is we're gonna stack up all the department heads that are gonna come in and propose their budget. And I know some of them take longer, some of them don't, but I would have them 5-minute
11 to
intervals,
1.
have them stacked up so they can go through and get them out of here. And then we have to get our revenue side to come in, and we gotta see what the request for the budget is versus our expense, and then we gotta make sure those two are equal or as close to equal as we can.
Start at 11 if it goes after.
11.
till when?
I like the word equal.
Well, it's
11 to 2.
well, I
that's
do,
what
I
it
do too.
takes.
We're about done.
Huh?
11 to 2, whatever. But I can't start. I can't
Do
start.
do you wanna just go at like 1 and go? Or
That takes up the whole afternoon. I'd rather do 3 hours and get it.
We'll
If
never
we can-
do it.
well, it's gonna
It takes
take,
a day.
it's sometimes 2 days if somebody isn't available.
And,
Let's do it in 2 days.
you know, do you want, also like, you know, like the city will be, wanna come? Dr. Stanage always comes.
How?
We don't have to have them the same day as a department. head.
No,
How about this? How about we do half of them at 1 o'clock, start on the 26th, get done with as many as we can, do the rest at 11 o'clock the next day, cause I don't think we'll get them done in one day.
I don't know if 26 works for me, but
Yeah, it'll just be that they'll come in and say, hey, this is what my budget is. And so then Patty puts her book together.
Well, we'll ask them questions, and
Yeah.
I certainly think on some of these here that,
Yeah.
that they went over, or way under
Well,
estimated
Yeah.
their expenses.
You know,
And you have to. schedule
Why didn't you spend that
for
much?
Next meeting.
Well, it's something that's gonna break down in the near
See
future
what
now.
we can do. 'cause
it's a good point.
Some of
We have
the
to have
other
some-
departments aren't gonna take
It's a good point.
This is some good
15
information.
minutes.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
some only take
Some of them
like,
got a 40.
I mean, you're gonna get like, Preston and
Yeah, they're gonna take.
Paul
45
and
minutes.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be more. Most of us, you know, we're pretty self-exploring, the other ones, like mine and Patty's.
I just,
Put
Patty,
together some kind of schedule and we'll approve it.
Patty,
next week.
what would you
Next week.
recommend? I don't think we'll get through it in 3 hours, do you? I mean,
So, I mean, I'm gonna point at us first,
Mm.
first on the list. In 2024, we budgeted, 135,000 operating expenses. We spent 155,000. Now that tells me that I've got to figure out a way to cut 26,000 out of our budget. Where are you gonna want to cut that?
that was probably a.
my question isn't so much how you're gonna cut it, and my question is, what was all that money spent on that wasn't budgeted in the
Yeah,
first
for
place?
$20,000, where did that?
It was likely one of the studies that we did.
If you want that done, Patty's got that information by month and that, she can sit there and come up with those answers.
Because it's very imperative that this budget is accurate, because if our budget is accurate, then we should have the levy, the tax levy should cover it.
Yeah.
The problem happens when we budget and it's not realistic, and then the
Exactly.
taxes aren't brought in to cover it, then we start spending out of our,
I can,
Good
for,
point, Ryan.
for your guys, is that one is studies.
Yeah,
I
Probably.
think that was, now that I think about it, I think that we pitched in on that library study, and I think that would be the big punch, 20,000 right there.
so we're in for the 27th at 11. Patty, do you think that's enough or do we need to?
I
do
think
it?
for the main departments, I think the 27th is fine. We'll have to have another day to do, you know, the other ones, the city ones, what they request and.
Can we, Mr. Chair, if it's okay with you, do we want to plan for that other one now or get a potential couple dates? Because everybody's summer is so busy, we're gonna,
Let's do this. Let's have the 27th for our department heads,
Okay.
starting at 11 o'clock in the morning. And let's have Patty schedule the rest of them in and see what kind of a time frame, if we can get it all in one day and
Okay.
start at 8 o'clock in the morning and get all of the other ones put together. And if he's calling around and saying, hey, they can't do it on this day, they can't do
Mm.
it. Scheduling is gonna be a nightmare,
Mm.
I'm sure, for everyone.
and then we'll need to do a revenue one as well, right? Where you put all the, so that's really
Well, I'll
three
do the
different
revenue
things.
and then show it to you,
Okay,
because I always do that.
Okay.
Yes.
all right, that sounds good. And you guys are all invited to our budget meeting. It's super fun. Usually nobody shows up, but it's probably the most important meeting of the year that we do. So,
You have no commission
Yeah.
comments?
Nope.
I have one and it coincides with what Dan and the NACO, the National Association of Counties meeting that was held in Rapid City. That was the first time I've gone to anything like that. It's phenomenal. The stuff that you're gonna learn as what counties throughout the whole nation deal with the exact same things we do here. Absolutely the exact same things. And then after the convention was over, we had the opportunity to visit the Pennington County Juvenile Detention Center. And that was a eye-opening experience to go through that facility compared to what we want to do here. I mean, obviously they're on a huge, a lot larger base than that we're looking at doing here in Yankton, but it's something that you know, there's things that they do that you don't even think about.
One
So
of the significant things, I think, one of you guys pointed out to me is that like 75% of their business is with Native Americans.
Yeah.
74% of the I don't know what you want to call the inmates or whatever you want to call are Native Americans
Yeah.
in their facility. The population of Rapid City is only 10% Native American. So obviously they're getting a lot of their clientele off of reservations out there, and it's not that much different than it's different, but it's not for us in Yankton County. I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm sure that we're 50% of the people the kids that we send, juveniles that we send to Sioux Falls are not Yankton County citizens. So it's one of those things that we need to look at and say, hey, we're servicing people that we maybe shouldn't have to, but we are.
Yep.
And that's a detriment to Yankton County. So it was just an eye-opening experience out there. Great education. So other than that,
Make a
Um,
motion to go into executive session.
have a
for
motion by
quarterly-
Dan to move into executive session, second by Don. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. by Don, second by Dan. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I make a motion to approve, the funeral expense of, BUR dot 25.01.005.
Second.
Got a motion by Ryan, second by Dan to approve the burial. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn?
Got a motion by Dan to adjourn,
Second.
second by Don. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.